Yes, this is a famous phonograph that was patented by Thomas Edison in 1869. Hello, everybody. Today we are at Thomas Edison National Historical Park. This site is located in West Orange, New Jersey, and includes his laboratory complex and Glenmont Estate. Of course, if you watch The War of Currents, you would know that his rival, Nikola Tesla, started his career here.
Thomas Edison! Was it Nikola Tesla?
Edison's most notable invention was the electrical light bulb. His invention of phonograph changed the music industry forever. He also invented the first ever carbon microphone. His work on DC batteries made a huge contribution to the field of energy storage. Yes, this sign is right, he did create an electric car with a 1,000-mile range. His invention of kinescope allowed people to watch motion pictures at home.
Step up, you'll be shocked when I spit and start static. I'll rip your style and add it to my long list of patents. While you were busy digging ditches and burning bridges, I'm pumping out inventions, stacking riches, so go back to your pitch.
Nikola Tesla was a brilliant inventor, engineer, and physicist. He's well known for his energy transmission theories and of course for the invention of AC current, which replaced later on DC later on. A lot of remarkable inventions throughout his career. One of them is brushless motor, along with many other things. If you would like to learn more about him, you can watch our video on Tesla Birthday Coil Show.
I see a universe of infinite energy, but no potential for threat from this enemy, so you can call me Tesla. Nikola, impeccably dressed, giving lessons in electrical nemesis. This will be on the test.
Thomas Edison married Mina Miller at 1886, a 20-year-old daughter of rich Midwestern manufacturer. He gave a choice to his fiancée between a town home in New York City or a country home. They settled at Glenmont Estate, which was a fashionable neighborhood at the time, advertised as country homes for city people. The 29-room red brick and wood mansion was built in 1880 and was designed by the same architect that built Edison's lab later. Unfortunately, we'll not be able to film inside the house due to the restrictions. The Glenmont Estate property includes a garage, barn, swimming pool, greenhouse, and the gravesite of Thomas Edison and his wife. The garage included 1 gasoline car and 9 electric cars. The garage had a car wash, gas pump, air compressor, and a battery charger. This is one of the Detroit-built electric cars. And this is another Detroit electric car that Mina Edison used to drive. And this is a 1908 locomotive that Thomas Edison used to test his batteries. And here's the battery charging station that was used to charge all those batteries for electric cars. And that's what the AC battery looked like at the time they used for those cars. You may not know, but Thomas Edison and Henry Ford were good friends. They frequently met in the public official gatherings and in family gatherings as well. Henry Ford was actually an electric car enthusiast, and him and Thomas Edison built cars together. Clara Ford drove an electric car. A lot of females at that time preferred electric motors because it was so much easier to start up and operate. And here's Henry Ford testing new batteries. This is the same statue that they have in Washington, D.C. of Thomas Edison holding the light bulb. The statue was designed by Alan Courtrill.
I conduct business. Understood things you never could. So dope that I even make New Jersey look good. I'm on the record.
We gotta go into the main laboratory complex. I guess the time changed, but the time clock stayed the same. We're going to go up to the 3rd floor for a phonograph demo.
$250 on eBay. Edison thought he could record the voice of famous people, and once they died, he could continuously hear their voices. So he becomes famous and moves on to other stuff. Well, the problem with the phonograph is Edison every few years had to go back and improve it. Someone would come through, Alexander Graham Bell invents a better phonograph, so when this lab opens up, he spends 3 years trying to come up with the even better one. And it goes back and forth. So years 1910, electric, it's all spring driven. You hand crank it. There's a spring in there that moves the cylinder, and all you have to do is drop the needle. Ready to go? Take a look. There's one drawback with this machine. There's no volume control. How do you think you control the volume on it? You roll up a sock and you stick it in the cone. Now this cost you in 1910 about $40, which was a lot of money. And the cylinders were about 25 cents each. The cylinders played either for 2 minutes or 4 minutes. Look at there. Unfortunately, down the road, Camden, New Jersey, Victor Records comes out. And what does Victor do? They come up with a flat disc that we all know today. Why do people want a flat disc as opposed to a cylinder? It's so much easier to store flat records versus cylinders. Now, Thomas Edison was convinced that you got better sound quality from a cylinder as opposed to a disc. But unfortunately, Victor Records patents and comes out with a flat disc, and no one was buying cylinders anymore. So Edison was forced to come up with his own vinyl record disc. So in 1920, he comes up with the Edison diamond disc system. Once again, it's all spring, no batteries, no electric, and it's spring driven. Amazing. The problem is you have Edison producing very high quality sound. It sounds fabulous, both these players.
Here's the example of one of the Edison's discs. And here is a cheaper and thinner disc from Victor Records.
But Victor Records wins out eventually. You know why? They don't sound as good as Edison Records, but Victor hires the pop stars of the time. They hire the opera singers, the top names, whereas Edison did not want to spend money on musicians. He hired the accordion player from up the street. Eventually, that kind of does the whole Edison phonograph business, and people would rather listen to lower quality pop stars than high quality no names. So in the end, Edison eventually, they shut down the whole phonograph business. and it was the same day the stock market crashed in 1929. And Victor records are still around today as part of Columbia.
Those horns were used to amplify the sound
Right.
for recording and playing. Thomas Edison used this room as a recording studio for the artist, just like you would see in this picture. Thomas Edison personalized the age of invention, America's new frontier in the late 1800s. Even though he's known for his inventions of photograph and electrical lamp, perhaps his greatest invention was the new way to invent the industrial research and development lab that he created in West Orange, New Jersey. Edison is best known as an inventor, but he was also an entrepreneur. He established dozens of companies during his career. He filed his first patent at the age of 22 while he was working as a telegrapher, and this patent was for the electrographic vote recorder. The device was made with the goal of helping legislatures in U.S. Congress record their voices in a quicker fashion than the voice vote system. His factories in West Orange produced a variety of cylinder and disc phonographs and recordings, plus business phonograph for office dictation. And here's the improved flat disc phonograph. And here is the mechanical version of the desk calculator, which in that time was a pretty important innovation. It was pretty big. I'm sure a lot of you would say, I don't even own one. I use my phone or my computer to do my computations or other software. So, but this is what it looked like back then. And here's the typewriter. A lot of you probably haven't even seen one. He also invented the home kinetoscope, which allowed people to watch motion pictures in privacy at home. And this looks like a camera. And this looks like a desk fan. And this looks like his invention of automatic telegraph. And those are the cylinders for voice recording. Here's a fireside phonograph with 4-minute cylinder. Yes, those are the irons. They look like the ones we currently have to iron our clothes, so it's kind of funny how some things just stay in the same shape. And another item from our everyday life, the toaster, looks very similar. We are on the second floor of the laboratory. Just like I was saying in the beginning of this video, way before the arrivals, Nikola Tesla actually worked for Thomas Edison in his labs. And quite frankly, I don't know how much of rivals they were. I think they had some disputes. Of course, they have the AC/DC dispute, and they might have had disagreements. But I think each one of them had their own place in the world of science and had their own inventions. So I don't know if there's actually that much of a dispute going on there, as you would see portrayed in like movies such as the War of Currents, or maybe some of the other movies. I think there's also a possibility that this rivalry competition was mostly between the parties invested into the projects. But I think what's important is both inventors had such a great contribution to science and things that we enjoy now. If you ever worked for a factory or lab, most likely those places had a stockroom, and that's where you would go to get your components that you need for your project. We're entering a heavy machine shop. I'm guessing Thomas Edison conducted his experiments here. And here we have the coat hangers and the sinks for the staff. That's where they most likely started a day and ended a day. It's funny how the drill press of that time actually looks very similar to the drill press currently. Of course, this design might have changed a little, but the concept is very similar. Although a lot of machines nowadays have electronic controls, the overall concept still stayed the same. You're probably wondering why there's so many drive belts on those machines. Well, you will see in 1 second. Those two electric motors will power up the whole machine shop. If you could tell, the belt's going to that side, so whenever those motors are in motion, it rotates the shaft right ahead of us, and then using those other drive belts, it transfers the energy to the machines throughout the shop. As you can see here, those belts are connected to the gears of the machines on the floor, and then it goes all the way up to the other gear, which is connected through a larger belt to the shaft, which transfers the rotational energy from the motors. And we are at Edison's office and a technical library. You can tell he spent a lot of time here. See how well this place is decorated, and he has his kinescope here and the books and places to sit and work. And we see a model of his house here. There's even a bed here, so I guess when he stayed late, he probably spent the night here at his office. If we look up, we'll see his technical library, which I'm sure is a wealth of knowledge that he leveraged while working on his projects. And here's where the magic happened, his work desk. The West Orange Laboratory Complex looked like a small college campus. This 3-story building held research library, machine shops for building models, space for experiments, various research projects, and Edison's office that you see right now. Thomas Edison earned 1,093 US patents in his lifetime. Most of those inventions came from this laboratory complex.
Doing experiments based on what Edison is telling you to do. And not only did you have to do his experiments, Edison expected you to work on your own to come up with more ideas that he could use later and other stuff. But if you were a chemist back then, this is where you wanted to work. This was the Silicon Valley of the era. I mean, this was cutting edge technology, and this is where you wanted to be. All the products he made was made right here in the West Orange. That's where we are now.
In 1893, Edison and his staff filmed short movies in his small studio that he nicknamed Black Maria. Working with W.K.L. Dixon, Edison developed strip kinematograph. Sometimes they even filmed in a lab courtyard. And here what it looks like right now.
Then it's a shocking real story of a banker with you. And if the people knew you stopped me from making power free, they would curse the Con Edison with every utility.
Thomas Edison died on October 18th in 1931. Lights dimmed nationwide for 1 minute on the day of his funeral. He was buried on the property of the Glenmont Estate, and his wife was buried there later, right next to him. He greatly improved the world that we know today with his innovations. As always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.